It was the summer of 2013, and I was 15, on a family vacation at the Hilton Hotel in Orlando, Florida. The resort was a sprawling paradise, sparkling pools, buzzing arcades, and families everywhere, a perfect escape from Chicago's sweltering heat. My parents gave me freedom to roam during the day while they lounged by the pool or visited nearby theme parks. That's when I met Jake, an 18-year-old who said he was from Texas. Tall, with messy brown hair and a constant smirk, he had a mischievous vibe that drew me in. Jake was trouble from the start, sneaking into the gym after hours, tampering with vending machines for free snacks. Once, he convinced me to swap the men's and women's bathroom signs just to watch people's confusion. It was stupid but hilarious at the time. With few kids my age around, I stuck with him. My parents met him once in the lobby, found him polite enough, but warned me to stay out of trouble. Everything shifted on our fourth night. It was 2 a.m., and I was in my hotel room, scrolling on my phone, careful not to wake my parents, sleeping nearby. My phone buzzed with a text from Jake, "Hey man, can't sleep. Let's prank some doors. Knock and run, old school style. Meet me in the hall in 5. The idea sounded thrilling in the late-night quiet. Boredom and Jake's infectious energy overrode my hesitation. I slipped on sneakers, grabbed my key card, and crept out. The hallway was dim, carpet muffling my steps. Jake waited by the elevators, grinning like a fool. "This floor's perfect," he whispered. "Mostly old folks, fast asleep." We started on the 3rd floor, tapping doors lightly and darting around corners, stifling giggles as we heard grumbles or doors creak open. No one spotted us, it felt like harmless kid stuff. After about 20 minutes and 6 doors, Jake grew bolder, knocking harder. "One more," he said, leading me to a narrow side hallway I hadn't noticed. A staff-only sign was half hidden behind a plant, the lights flickering, the air thick with a musty, damp carpet smell. "Why here?" I asked, uneasy. Jake shushed me and pressed on. At the end was a maintenance door, slightly ajar. He peeked inside, then turned back with that smirk. Before I could speak, I saw him, an old man standing in the dim light just inside the doorway. Tall, gaunt, in a faded grey jacket and pants that looked like a hotel uniform but grimy. His pale face was etched with deep wrinkles, his eyes dark, like hollow shadows. Then Jake's voice boomed, no longer a whisper, "Dad, here he is. Our today's meal. Catch him." My heart froze. Meal. I spun around, Jake's face was twisted, not playful but menacing, lunging at me. He was bigger, stronger, always bragging about his workouts. Instinct took over. As he reached for me, I swung my fist, smashing his nose with a sickening crunch. Blood sprayed, and he stumbled back, cursing, clutching his face. I ran, legs wobbly, sneakers pounding the carpet. Behind me, Jake's curses mixed with the old man's raspy growl, "Get him." I didn't look back, hitting the main hall and sprinting for the stairs. Elevators felt too risky. Down 2 flights, my chest burned, the hotel eerily silent, no staff, no guests. I burst through a side door to the pool area, the humid Florida air hitting like a wall. The pool glowed, blue under underwater lights, empty and still. Without thinking, I dove into the deep end, clothes and all, the cold water shocking my system. I swam to the bottom, 8 feet down, huddling there, holding my breath. My lungs screamed, bubbles escaping my nose. Peering up through the rippling surface, I saw the old man step onto the pool deck, scanning slowly, like he was sniffing the air. "I know you're hiding, boy," he called, his voice echoing off the concrete. "You can't run forever." Chlorine stung my eyes, but I held on, counting seconds, 30, 40, my chest on fire. Then, a familiar voice cut through. "Excuse me, sir, have you seen my son? He's 15, about this tall, blue shirt." My dad. He must have woken up, noticed I was gone, and come searching, his phone flashlight cutting through the dark. The old man muttered, "Haven't seen anyone," sounding irritated, and slipped back into the shadows, not vanishing like a ghost, but moving fast, like he didn't want to be caught. I couldn't hold my breath anymore. I pushed off the bottom, surfacing with a gasp, water streaming down my face. "Dad," I shouted, treading water. He spun around, eyes wide. "What the hell? Get out of there." He rushed to the edge, pulling me out, his arm around my shivering shoulders. The old man was gone. We hurried back to our room, dripping water through the halls. My mom was awake, frantic. I spilled everything, the pranks, the hallway, Jake's betrayal, the old man's chilling words. It sounded insane even to me. My parents exchanged glances. "Honey, maybe they were just messing with you," my mom said. "Kids play cruel pranks." My dad nodded. "Probably some weird father-son duo trying to scare you. We'll report it in the morning." But when we did, the hotel had no record of a Jake from Texas or an old man matching that description, guest or staff. I blocked Jake's number and stayed close to my parents, for the rest of the trip. Maybe they left that night, or maybe it was a sick setup to terrify me. Those words, "our today's meal," still echo in my nightmares. What were they planning? 6 months ago, my wife Laura and I moved into our first real home in a quiet suburb outside Dallas, Texas. After years in cramped apartments, we were thrilled about the private backyard and shimmering swimming pool, our own oasis. The neighbors seemed ordinary at first, a family next door with an 8-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl. Their dad, Mike, was a burly construction worker, their mom, a nurse, worked night shifts sometimes. We exchanged polite waves but kept to ourselves. The trouble began with their kids. Our backyards were separated by a 6-foot wooden fence, and at first, it was just a stray ball landing in our pool area. I'd hear a splash, go out, and toss it back, no big deal. But soon, it was deliberate. Every day after school, toys came flying over, frisbees, action figures, even a plastic dinosaur. I heard the kids giggling, "Throw it higher." Our pool filter started clogging, and Laura, who cherished her peaceful lap swims, grew frustrated. Then the doorbell started. The kids would ring it relentlessly, like a game, until we answered. Our toy fell over. "Can we get it?" the boy would say. We were kind at first, letting them in through the side gate to grab their stuff. But it happened too often, sometimes 5 times a day, invading our private pool area with its lounge chairs, plants, and bar setup. One weekend, Laura and I had enough. "This has to stop," she said. "It's our property." The next time they rang, I opened the door and said firmly, "Look, kids, you can't keep throwing things over, and you can't come in anymore. I'll toss your toys back when I see them." The girl pouted, the boy glared, but they left. I thought that was it. I was wrong. The throwing escalated, like they were taunting us. A Nerf gun, a Barbie doll, A remote control car buzzing until its battery died piled up in our yard. They'd ring the bell anyway, once for a solid minute straight. Laura got creeped out. "What if they climb the fence?" she asked. Our Ring camera caught them whispering and laughing before running off. Things took a darker turn when Mike got involved. A few days after I set boundaries, he showed up at our door in the evening, 6 feet 3 inches, tattooed, no smile. "My kids say you're keeping their toys." "That's not cool," he said. I explained calmly that they were throwing them on purpose, and I was returning them. He stared me down. "Just let them get their stuff. It's no big deal." I stood my ground, "It's our property. Tell them to stop." He muttered something under his breath and walked away. That night, toys hit our yard harder. One cracked our sliding glass door with a sickening thud. We installed extra backyard lights and double-checked the gates. As a tech sales rep, I travel often, leaving Laura alone some nights. She started locking every door religiously, unsettled by Mike's demeanor. Then came a Tuesday in July, hot and humid. I was at a conference in Austin, 2 hours away. Laura texted goodnight at 11 p.m., saying she was watching Netflix and heading to bed. At 2:17 a.m., my phone rang. "Laura," whispering frantically, "someone's at the door, banging hard." My heart sank. I opened the Ring app and saw Mike on our porch, lit by the motion light, pounding the door with his fist, the sound echoing. "Open up. I know you're in there. Give me my kids' toys," he yelled. Laura said he sounded drunk or furious. Then he started kicking the door, the frame shaking on camera. I told her to lock herself in the bedroom and call 911 if it got worse. Then I heard glass shatter over the phone. "Oh God, the kitchen window," she cried. The backyard camera showed Mike punching through it, blood on the shards, reaching for the latch. Laura screamed, running upstairs to barricade the bedroom door with a chair. I called the police from my hotel, giving our address and describing the live Ring feed. "My wife's alone, and the neighbors trying to break in. Hurry!" Sirens wailed on the Ring audio. Mike froze, then backed off the porch, but it was too late. 2 cop cars screeched up, lights flashing. Officers leapt out, guns drawn, shouting, "Hands up! Get on the ground!" Mike raised his hands, arguing, "They stole from my kids. They cuffed him on our lawn." Laura peeked out, still on the phone with me. An officer checked on her, noting the broken window and blood. As they led Mike away, he turned, locking eyes with Laura through the open door. The Ring caught it clearly. "I'll kill you one day," he said, calm as a vow, even in handcuffs. The officers heard it and logged it as a threat. I drove home, arriving at dawn. Laura was shaken, clinging to me. Mike's wife apologized the next day, blaming his work stress, and the kids stopped throwing toys. We got a restraining order, replaced the window with reinforced glass, and added more cameras. Mike's out on bail, still next door. Laura flinches at every night noise, and I replay that footage, his voice chilling me, "I'll kill you one day." We're considering moving, but houses are pricey. For now, we lock up tight, hoping he doesn't follow through. But in quiet moments, I wonder if he's waiting for his chance. It was July 2017 in Austin, Texas, one of those sticky summer nights where the heat refused to relent, even after sunset. I'm Emily, and I was a regular at the Zilker Park community pool, escaping the stress of my downtown office job with endless emails. Swimming was my release. That evening, I arrived around 7:30 p.m., expecting solitude. The pool was nearly empty, just a couple of older guys packing up and a kid splashing in the shallow end with his mom. The lifeguard, a college kid named Jake, waved goodbye, calling, "Lock up when you're done, folks." Budget cuts meant no staff after dark. I didn't mind. The cool water, sharp with chlorine, and the cicadas hum in the trees were my sanctuary. I slipped into the deep end, goggles on, gliding through freestyle laps, letting work worries melt away. The sun sank, painting the sky orange, casting long shadows across the deck. The chain-link fence around the pool rattled in the breeze, but I brushed it off. After 10 laps, I paused at the edge, catching my breath. The other swimmers were gone, leaving just me and the gentle lapping of water. My beat-up Honda sat alone in the parking lot beyond the fence. Peaceful. But then, a prickle crawled up my neck, the unmistakable feeling of being watched. I scanned the tree line, 20 feet away, where oaks cast dark shadows. Nothing. Probably just paranoia from too many late-night true crime podcasts. I shook it off and dove back in. A few laps later, I stopped again, treading water. A faint creak broke the silence, the gate. I turned, heart quickening. The gate was ajar, but no one was there. "Hello?" I called, my voice echoing off the tiled walls, sounding small. No reply, just the cicadas hum. Then, from behind the changing rooms, a figure emerged, a tall man, broad-shouldered, in a hooded jacket despite the 85-degree heat. His face was lost in the hood's shadow. He stood motionless, hands in pockets, staring right at me. My stomach twisted. Who wears a jacket in this heat? Maybe a jogger, I thought, but his stillness felt wrong, too focused. "Pool's closing," I said, trying to sound casual. He didn't respond, didn't move. Then he started walking, slow and deliberate, along the pool's edge toward the deep end. His heavy boots thudded on the concrete, not sneakers, but work boots. In his hand, a flashlight swung loosely, like it could double as a weapon. My mind raced, news stories about creeps lurking in public places after hours. Austin's usually safe, but parks at night. Not always. I swam for the ladder, the water feeling thick, dragging at me. I climbed out, dripping, feet cold on the deck, and grabbed my towel, wrapping it tightly around me. I fast walked to the gate, not running to hide my fear. He mirrored my pace on the opposite side of the pool. Then his flashlight flicked on, a bright beam blinding me. I flinched, muttering, "What the hell?" The light cut off, and he was closer, crouching at the edge, like he was gauging the distance to leap in. Panic surged. I heard it, a low, gravelly chuckle, like he'd been waiting for this moment. I bolted, yanking the gate open, metal clanging loudly, and sprinted to my car. My keys, thank God, were in my unlocked Honda, a careless habit. I dove in, slammed the locks, and roared the engine to life, tires squealing as I peeled out. In the rearview, he stood at the gate, flashlight dangling, not chasing, just watching. I drove straight to my apartment, hands trembling. I called the police, but what could I say? Some guy creeped me out at the pool. They took a report, said they'd check, but I never heard back. That was over 2 years ago. I haven't returned to Zilka's pool. The image of that man, standing there, watching, burns in my mind. Who was he? What did he want? I'll never know, but I lock my car every time now, and I avoid being alone in open spaces after dark. Some fears never fade.